Hi guys, Steve Girardi here. Welcome to Steve Strings. Today I'm doing a review of the Aklot U-Bass or Aklot Bass Ukulele. I did an unboxing video of this, about a month or so ago, a couple months ago now I guess, and I'll put the link to that up here. So again, I've been playing around with this for the past couple months, and I also gave it to a friend of mine to play around with and see what she thinks of it, and I'll have her thoughts and impressions later on in the video. But right now, before we dive into this bass ukulele, let's go ahead and talk about what came with this instrument. Again, this was sent to me by Aklot, and when it came with this really nice gig bag. It's this nice, heavy, like a canvas material with these two straps, which I like. It's easier to carry. It also has this nice little loop on the back for hanging it up. It also has a nice padded handle. I think it has like 10 or so millimeters of padding to it, and it comes with a nice sized pouch that you can put your different things you need to tote in there. Also, in addition to the gig bag, this came with a tuning key, or an Allen wrench I should say, for the truss rod, and it came with this nice thick guitar strap basically. So let's go ahead and talk about the instrument. As you can see, this is a very striking dark wood, and this dark wood is called striped ebony. And as you can see, I mean, it is just really, really pretty. I mean, as I said in the unboxing video, I really wish that Aklot would make, say, a baritone with this kind of wood, because it is just drop dead gorgeous. Also, you can see here that the fretboard and the bridge are a lighter color, and they are walnut. You can see what looks like frets in the fingerboard, but this is a fretless bass ukulele. What look like frets are inlays, and so that is where you need to fret right on that line to get the note that you're looking for. As you can see also, it has these nice position markers here. They're not really fancy, they're very subtle position markers on the face of the fingerboard and also on the sides. You can also see that the fingerboard has a binding on it, a dark binding, which is a different color than the walnut fingerboard. You can also say that it has a veneer here on the headstock, a nice dark ebony veneer with inlaid Aklot logo. You can see it has these nice black bass tuning machines. I believe the gear ratio, this is a 23:1 gear ratio. Also, it has an abalone inlaid rosette. I mean, this is just really nice. The nut and saddle, I think the nut and saddle are bone. I'll have to check that statistic again and state that. I've forgotten. You can also see that it comes with strap buttons at both the heel and on the end of the body. You can see this is the traditional double bout shape, and it comes with an Aklot branded equalizer. I think you can see that pretty well. Also, it comes with a built-in tuner, which is nice because when you turn the tuner on, it turns off the amp. You can see the amp's plugged in, but you can't hear it now because this thing is on. And that's really quite nice. So that way, if you need to do tuning, like tune this up, and you're on stage, again, when you turn that on, it doesn't send a signal to the amp. So again, I've had this for a while. From looking at this, I've looked inside. It is very neat and tidy inside. Basically, this is a flawless finished instrument. The neck does have a joint here at the heel, and it also has a scarf joint here at the headstock, which is barely even perceptible, but this is just really, really nicely done. I mean, like I said, I've been really enjoying this, and again, this colleague of mine, I loaned it to her for a while to play with it. She did not want to give it back. She wanted to keep it. So I did a sound sample with the intro, but I'll go ahead and turn the tuner back on, and we'll try this again. The amp I have it plugged into is a Keith Urban, like a low end amp. It's only turned down to like number 1 on the volume, and so I don't want to, because I'm in an apartment right now, don't want to disturb the neighbors too much. Well, let's go ahead and turn this back on, and you can see we're connected. So let's go ahead and do a little run here. So you can probably tell by my playing that I am not a bass player. Again, I'm an ukulele player. I've been playing around with this, trying some other things, and it's been a lot of fun. Again, this colleague of mine, she's playing a large electric bass, and at first she's like, this, I don't know about that, but she ended up really liking it. So what do you think of this instrument?
I love it. I've been using it for the past couple of weeks, so just kind of getting used to playing again, and this is kind of like a travel size of my regular bass, so I've been able to have it in the living room and bring it to the bedroom, and I haven't so much used it on the amp, just because I'm practicing the finger work and things like that. So it sounds great, minus user error. It's beautiful. I love how it looks. I love how it smells, oddly. I like it. Can I have it? The only thing, I was telling you earlier, the only thing that I'm concerned about is, as a woman, when you play, it's kind of hard for, where to position your anatomy, and if you know what I mean. So I am not as comfortable as I am with my regular bass, because I find I have to kind of press my boobs in, so it's not as comfortable when I'm playing. Where with my other one, I can kind of rest it on there, but I can't get my finger motion when I do that on this one. So that's, I think, the size issue that men won't have to worry about.
What do you like the most about this instrument?
I like how it sounds. I'm surprised it sounds as good as it does with its strings. And again, I'm not an expert or anything like that, but I'm just used to the one bass that I've learned on and I've played, and I thought it would sound more like a toy, I guess, when you first let me borrow this, but it sounds really good. So I guess that surprised me, and that's what's kind of encouraging me to play it too, and kind of get used to. It doesn't hurt my fingers as much as the steel strings do, so I can play longer and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything about it that you don't particularly like, other than what you described with your positioning?
I guess like the E chord, obviously the thickness, it's got to be there, but it's harder for me to control the E chord, to not get that sound. So again, that's my skill that has to kind of practice a little bit more, but that's probably the hardest thing. Tuning, you and I mentioned off camera, tuning is not easy that I'm used to. My guitar is super easy to tune, so this takes a little bit more.
Yeah, the rubber strings are very different.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that would be, you know, I wouldn't know what to do to combat that, but.
Why don't you go ahead and just play around with it and play some bass runs or do what you want there. Let's see what it sounds like.
Okay. Your viewers know I'm no expert. Please don't seek me for your parties or for your bands. I hope you can hear it. Let me see. Okay. That's a little Watch Yourself by B.B. King. There's a lot of blues songs with that run. So you heard like it kind of, it's just harder to control that, or for me to get used to it maybe is what it is, but it's fun. It doesn't at all, like if you've been playing for a while, you know, like I'll get divots in my fingers from pressing down so hard and making, particularly, you know, I think with a woman's hands we're smaller, so we have to kind of press a little bit differently because our fingers get that whole string to kind of behave, and I don't have that problem here. I think it's it has a different sound than my bass, and it's just fun, and it's, I tend to kind of neglect my bass sometimes when because we have it in a different room and it's upstairs and that kind of thing, so I've been just having this around. It's just more convenient, and like I said, I haven't used the amp feature that you're supposed to have, so it'd probably be better, but I like it.
So this is my review of the Aklot U-Bass. If you are looking for a relatively inexpensive bass ukulele with some really, really striking looks, that's well put together, this is one to look at. I mean, I've been really, really pleased with this. If you play the bass and have had a chance to play any U-basses, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this down below. And if you've played this particular U-bass, I definitely would love to hear from you what your impressions are. Because again, I'm not a bass player. I'm looking at this from a novice who might be interested in picking up a bass. And I'll tell you, this is one I like to play around with. Thanks for watching.